welcome to the Opportunity Coalition. So why did we found this group a number of years ago? First, we believe in promoting free markets, business, and entrepreneurship. Second, to build bridges of connection and understanding between diverse people. Oftentimes we all get into our different ruts of whatever we might be involved in business or philanthropy, and to come into a group like this and just meet new and different people, and which drives really our third point, is to bring in speakers and to learn from them, to figure out what they're doing, what has made them successful, and how does that apply to our own lives to go out and make a larger impact in this world that we live in. As you heard, I just returned from the Middle East. I left the day after Thanksgiving, and I got back on Monday night. I was there for 2.5 weeks. I went first from Denver, spent a few days in London for business, then went on to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Beirut, and then home. And so as I open my remarks, I just want to share a few comments about that, and to share kind of 3 takeaways that I came away with. I spent a lot of time traveling the world and been fortunate to spend a little bit of time in the Middle East. Who's been in what we term the Middle East? Raise your hand.
Does Morocco count?
Yeah, sure, why not? Morocco over there. Close I would be accused of doing something wrong there. But I really walked away with 3 things I'd like to share with you tonight before I get into my main talk. First of all, as we meet with different people around the world, investors, business people, etc., we've all heard that we're in a global environment. We know that. But I would submit that it's a global environment with options. There's a new sphere for investors and capital and business looking at all kinds of different places around the world. But in my time overseas, I keep hearing how attractive the United States of America is to invest in and to be a part of. And specifically, what drives a lot of people here is our legal system, which at times drives us crazy. Sorry for any attorneys in the room. But it's this idea of a stable government, a stable military, and a legal system that you can depend on. Sadly, in a lot of these countries, they can't depend on those things, and those things can be taken away from them pretty readily. Second, I would say that most people that I run into in the world still admire and are in awe of the United States of America. There's a reason why so many people are trying to get to this country. It is truly the land of opportunity. Oftentimes we constantly are beating up the United States, and frankly I get tired of it. All the politicians on stage telling us how bad we are. Yeah, we have our issues, no question, and yes, we can get better. But as I tell a lot of people, we have won the historical lottery of all time, to live where and when and how we do in this country. And with that comes responsibility in terms of service and reaching out to others. But for a moment, understand that you've been given a lot, and with that, you can also achieve a lot. Third, unlike the hateful rhetoric that we're hearing from many politicians, not only on our side in the United States, but also overseas, it really bothers me, this idea of dividing people groups. Dividing us whether on our resources and what we have, the have and have-nots, racial divisions, and divisions as it relates to religion. It really just breaks my heart at the end of the day. And I'd encourage you that a lot of the people that I've had the fortunate opportunity to meet, these are people that, one, as I said, love the United States, love America, love what it stands for. A lot of them have been educated here. And I want to encourage each of you, as you hear these things on the TV and from these different politicians, not to lump the entire Arab world into one bucket. Not to lump every single country into one bucket, or a people group, or a religion. If you really want to go out, I believe, and have a positive impact and affect some of the negative things that are going on in the world today, go out and have coffee and befriend a Muslim. Go out and befriend a Christian, a Jew, and the non-believer, and everybody in between. Because through that experience, you get to meet some wonderful people and build some bridges. And I think really that is the answer to understanding and to building that over time. Our family, we had the opportunity of having 2 young kids from Saudi Arabia join our family for Thanksgiving. These kids had never seen snow. had never ridden a horse, and had never shot a gun. Shot a gun, not shot in a gun. And I brought out my whole arsenal. I don't know if that's good for international peace talks or not, but we had a great time, and we've got videos to prove it. But all joking aside, I really believe that we here in this room, the people that we come into contact with, we are the solution that we wish to see in the world. Anybody can be a naysayer, anybody can be negative. So think about that during this holiday season. Thank you. I don't need I just wanted to share that. I think it's very important. So I'm grateful to be right here at home in Denver this evening with each of you. Special thanks to the generous and gracious hosts of the Colorado Auto Dealers Association. This association is an industry trade group that represents over 260 car and truck dealers throughout our state. Colorado now leads the nation in new car sales. I don't know if you knew that or not. Partly reflective of our economy, and we see it on the streets as we're trying to get here. We're not going to make a comment about the traffic in Colorado. Overall, Coloradans are spending more money on cars and spending it more frequently. Over the last 2 years, our state saw a 6.2% increase in car sales, marking the 5th straight year of solid growth. Think about most industries having 5 straight years of solid growth. According to 9 News, when you put that together with the previous 4 years to show a 5-year trend, there's been a whopping 80.2% increase. That compares with the national average of 57%. In all, 2014 marked the 4th best year in new car sales over the last 15 years. And Tim, who's going to be speaking here in a moment, can tell us where 2015 is poised to be. Of course, there are many exciting discussions when it comes to cars today and the future of driving. Drastically increased technology, safety, driver assist vehicles, or completely driverless vehicles. Elon Musk, who I'm sure may come up in the conversation tonight, head of an innovative electric car company, Tesla, said earlier this year that driverless vehicles are actually already a solved problem. Quote, "We know exactly what to do, and we'll be there in a few years," Musk said. He concluded that human driving may very well be outlawed in the future. Elon Musk, not Brian Watson, Elon Musk. To that end, though, I did recently have lunch, was at a lunch with Thomas Friedman, the author of The World is Flat. And in that lunch, he talked about how he was visiting Google in their driverless car, and the need to put a human behind the wheel, even though this car has had thousands of successful voyages or drives, shall we say, on about, with no accidents, but they still had to put a human behind the wheel for the perception of the people on the street, because it made them so concerned. He also likened that to the idea, I don't know if you've overheard the concept of somebody wanting to be paid, and they said, you know what, give me a grain of rice or give me a penny on a chessboard, and double that every single square. And by the end, you'll have trillions of dollars, you'll have all the rice in China, whatever it is you want to use. What Google and Thomas Friedman and a lot of these people are saying is that we are entering the second half of the chessboard. You think about the geometric growth and the world as we know it today, what will it look like? It'll be fascinating. We live in some interesting times. So, tonight we have with us Tim Jackson. Tim serves as the president and CEO of the Colorado Auto Dealers Association. As I said, they represent 260 new car and truck dealers across our state. As the chief staff officer of CADA, Tim advocates for issues of importance to franchise new car dealers, business and employment issues, and fights for entrepreneurial freedom in the legislative process. CADA provides training and education, legislative and regulatory advocacy, member services, and legal compliance to support for Colorado's auto dealer community. For the prior 7 years, Tim served as the state director for the National Federation of Independent Business, NFIB, which is a small business advocacy organization with 600,000 members nationally. Tim has a personal goal, which I love, to visit as many Rotary clubs as possible in the United States. So far, he has spoken to 120 of Colorado's 140 Rotary clubs. Some as many as 4 times and presented, and he's just been very involved in that process. He's also an avid cyclist. Tim and his wife Beverly reside in Denver. They have 2 grown children, a daughter who is a private practice attorney, and a son who relocated to Japan for 5 years to teach German and English to Japanese students. Help me welcome Tim.